everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 353. So, Chicago, hello. I'm feeling... Exile, hello. Feeling a bit lonely. And the reason is I talked last week about how scam calls had increased, and I really wish that iPhone had some option to just, if a number is not in my contacts list, just block it. Don't silence it. Don't forward it to voicemail. Don't even record it in my recents. Just block it, like a blocked number. But that's not an option. Luckily, there's at least a silence any calls that come from a number not in your address book. And I had noticed that a significant increase in scam calls. Last week I was talking about I was getting like 6 or 7 a day, which was up from maybe, some days I'd get 1 or 2, some days none. But last week they started increasing, and this week it only got worse, to the point where Thursday I had 11 calls during the day. And then on Friday, none. And today, none. Not that I'm unhappy about that, but was it something I said? Did I hurt somebody's feelings? I don't know. I did genuinely. I'm actually very happy about that, but it's really odd to me that the spam calls just increased and increased and increased and then just suddenly stopped. I mean, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, but it's still just really odd. But, hey, I'll take it. How do I know it's a scam call? Because someone's calling me. No one calls me. Scam calls were getting better for about cloning area codes that I either live in or live adjacent to. I mean, it's pretty clear. It's like I don't know anybody in Iowa. I don't know anyone in Virginia. Now they're coming from Southern California, so they got better at it, and they're like, he's never gonna answer the phone. Andrew doesn't like us. Let's see. Exile says, was it a machine or an actual person spam calling? God damn that fucking heart thing. I thank you. I like a little bit of effort in being disappointed. Yeah. YouTube support were the spam callers. Yeah. Is there some way to get rid of this goddamn thing that just gets in the way of the last word of some of... I mean, I can actually, make this wider, but I like where it is. It's so irritating. Just... It's the kind of thing where you're like, didn't anyone test this and go, oh, hey, this, I mean, seriously, just move this damn thing down a bit to... Let me see if this opens up. Yeah, you see this down here, this row of emojis? Just put these damn things down here, where all the emojis are. How do I turn off the emojis? Oh, shoot. I have no idea. Shoot, I don't know how to turn those off. No. Like that. No. How do you turn it off? How do you get rid of it? Oh my god, what in the hell? Why is this so poorly designed? So you can open the emoji screen, but you literally cannot dock it or close it again? Wait, I swear I clicked on that before. I swear I clicked on that before. Oh well, whatever. I don't know why that thing is bleeding stuff, but whatever. Anyway, to answer XL's question, I normally don't answer the phone, But sometimes I'm bored or feel like I could use a break, and I would answer. So to answer your question, it's actually a why are emojis emanating from that little heart button? What's going on? Why is it doing that? Episode 353, Andrew kills an emoji. Yeah. Um, so it's a machine that's dialing because every time you answer the phone, you hear the click click as it connects to a person. Um, actually, the latest ones I talked to sounded like a recording because I'd try to stop them and like ask questions, but they just so it's either someone who's just not listening and is going through a script, but it's probably just a recording. Um, I stayed on the line long enough for it to connect me with an actual. I'll forward you to my manager or whatever. Yeah, hello, hello, hi. What can I do for you? I'm like, you called me. What can I do for you? What do you want? Trying to sell me something? I mean, what? And then they hang up on me. I I've tried to figure out what the scam is, and I cannot figure out what they're even going for. I don't know how unless it's just like a prank, like they have nothing better to do than waste someone else's time. Maybe. I mean, it's got to be a scam, but I genuinely cannot figure out what it's supposed to be. Oh well. Lindy, hello. Speaking of Lindy, for the Lindy is an artist, and she's donated her art history to our the Extra Life charity event for the last couple of years, and Lou won again. And so in case a little bit of background, everyone who donates $50 gets a raffle ticket, and at the end of the night, we draw a name out of a hat, and whoever's name gets drawn gets to ask Lindy to draw them something. Well, Lou won again this year. Congrats, Lou! And this is the commission. It's Olivier and his poisonous fangs of lust. So, that's wonderful. So, thank you, Lindy, for continuing to donate your efforts and artistry to the charity event, and congrats, Lou, for winning, and good taste. Good taste. So, let's talk movies. Was it last night? Night before? It was a dark and stormy night. It wasn't storming, but it was dark. You know, like it is at 5 o'clock now. You know, I like to my work day ends ostensibly at 5 o'clock, and what I would like to do is finish my work day, do my exercisey stuff, shower, eat dinner, do chores and grocery shopping, whatever I need to do, play some video games, or maybe write some stuff for, do some video editing or whatever, and go to bed. Unfortunately, thanks in part to, the way the Earth spins around and orbits the sun, but mainly daylight savings, it's friggin' dark now at 5 o'clock. So when I go outside to warm up for a run, it's dark, and I don't like that. What if I trip? Did you think of that when you came up with this stupid daylight savings thing? What if there's a guy who's trying to exercise and he goes outside to run and he trips? I bet you weren't thinking of that, you numbnuts. For the children! What was I talking about? Oh, okay, so I watched a movie the other night at some point. It's called Skinamarink. I've never seen a trailer for it, but it's a memorable name. I didn't know what it was about, but I had heard it was an artsy-fartsy horror film and really, really good. I hadn't actually even read any reviews. I had just heard it's 1, horror, 2, artsy-fartsy, and 3, good. I'm like, that's three things I like. Horror, yes. Artsy fartsy, uh-huh. And good. That's one of the qualities I admire in entertainment media. So, I put it on, and I watched it, and then I turned it off after 8 minutes because this is going to sound hyperbolic, but nothing happens for the first 8 minutes. Literally nothing. Okay, maybe that is a bit hyperbolic, but what does happen for the first 8 minutes of the show? The camera, there is a house. It's late at night. It's dark in most of the home. There are people in the house. You can hear them moving around. You can hear muffled voices over in other rooms. The camera is staring. It's like it's sitting on the floor, aimed down a hallway for the first 2 minutes or so while the credits roll. Fair enough. That's fine. We're establishing atmosphere. Okay, got it. And then the camera angle switches to like the corner of a ceiling. I mean, it's like that, and it just hangs out there for a while, and then it changes to just staring at nothing, and it does that for 8 minutes. There's no dialogue. There's no people. You see, I think, 2 sets of feet walk by the camera down the hall. Again, you can tell there's other people in the house, but nothing's happening. Nothing. And I turned it off. I'm like, because I was really bored. I'm like, I think I maybe I went shopping or maybe I did something else, but I went, okay, let's something's got to happen. Either this movie is a big prank or literally nothing happens. So I turned it back after going for a walk or whatever. I turned it back on. I said, okay, Skinamarinky dinky doo. Let's get this done. And I turned it off again after 23 minutes because nothing happens. Nothing. It's just weird static shots of walls and floors and a staticky TV. And again, there's some other people in the house somewhere. What's interesting is, again, it's not that nothing happens, just nothing interesting happens to me. Popcorn ceiling. I agree. I don't like it either, but, I didn't build the apartment, so you take what you get. Anyway, what bothers me more is there's no overhead lighting. It's just a ceiling. That's why the lighting in here is so shit, because I had to buy this light, and I think you saw it a little bit. I have another light clamped up over here, right up there, just to get some actual light in here. It's terrible. So I stopped the movie at about 8 minutes and 20 seconds. At approximately 8 minutes and 40 seconds is the first line of dialogue, which I only knew because it's subtitled. And it's subtitled not because it's in a language other than English, but because whoever the hell is speaking it is so far away from the camera that I literally didn't hear them talking. So for the next 15 minutes, occasionally, what it sounds like is there's like 2 children who are like, hey, I think it's time to get up. Why are we whispering? I don't know, because it's dark, I guess, but maybe it's time to get... So there seem to be 2 kids who are awake, but don't think they should be, but are thinking that maybe they should, and I don't know. You never see the kids. You just hear other people wandering around the house occasionally. There's one shot where the camera's pointed at a television, and then it swings around towards a house noise, like we are the POV of a ghost? I don't know. Another thing that's interesting that happens is there are two moments where the camera is pointed at a wall and a doorway appears and then disappears. I'm not sure if a doorway appeared and then disappeared, or the film is trying to communicate to the audience that, see this wall? There was a door here, but it's gone now. Ooh, spooky, right? I'm honestly not sure. I'm like, well, that's a terrible way to do that. How you would actually do that is you would establish the geography of the home so that when we get to a place where we know there's a portal and it's just a blank wall, we go, oh no, the door that we know is there because it's been established is gone. Oh, spooky. Maybe it gets really good after 23 minutes. I don't know. I turned it off. So, Skinamarink, I think, goes up there. I think that's the fourth movie I've just shut off and stopped watching. Let me see. So my list is Babe, the talking pig movie. Just awful, insultingly awful film. It's the Will Ferrell movie. Anchorman, just an utterly unfunny film. I turned it off after about 20 minutes because it wasn't funny to me. I know I'm a minority opinion on that one. Honestly, I forget what the third one is. I have a video about that. I'll have to go look. But yes, I think I'm going to have to add Skinamarink to the list because, good gravy, I have no idea what they're going for with this movie. It's just... maybe it's a troll? It's like, it's an artsy-fartsy. We just filmed weird corners of the house, and there's weird sounds and whispers, and it just does that for 90 minutes. No idea. Read the description after I turned it off, and it says two kids wake up to find that the doors and windows, to find that they're alone and that the doors and windows of their home have disappeared. Well, that's terrifying. That's a pretty cool premise. At what point in the film do they do that, though? Because I watched 23 minutes and nothing happens. Camera angle changes. Couple people talk. Sometimes it's subtitled because they're like in other rooms. You can hear noises throughout the house, but weird. So I watched a movie called It's a Wonderful Knife, or as I spelled it in my notes, knift. It's not how you spell knife. I mean, the E and the T aren't even right next to each other. And yes, I had to correct my show notes. So, It's a Wonderful Knife, as you might divine from the title, is a parody of It's a Wonderful Life, only it's a slasher flick. So, in the town of, I don't know, Derry, whatever. So there's a small town somewhere. We have a high school gal who goes to a party, and a masked killer shows up and butchers her best friend and her best friend's boyfriend, and then chases her and her brother around, but she gets the drop on him and just electrocutes him to death with... the Christmas lights are hooked up to the car battery, so she takes the jumper cables off and sticks them in his ears and fries him. So, you know, she's the final girl, and she kills the slasher, and all's right with the world. Fast forward a year later, and everyone in the town is has just moved on, and is pretending like it's not happened, including her family, and she's still unable to deal with the fact that she watched her friend get gutted in front of her, and she, you know, saved her brother from getting stabbed to death, but she also killed a dude. So she's having a lot of trouble dealing with that. She wants to go to, I don't know, NYU or something to be a photographer, and she got rejected. Her parents got her an ugly pink tracksuit for Christmas and her brother a truck. Okay. Nothing's going right for her, so she's feeling down. Her boyfriend is cheating on her with her other friend. She's not having a good time. So she goes out to a bridge and she looks at the magical Ouroboros. No, not Ouroboros. The Northern Lights. What the hell's that called? Ouroboros. Says, my existence doesn't matter. No one cares about me. No one sees me. I wish I was never born. And so she gets George Bailey'd into a reality where she doesn't exist. And if she doesn't exist, well, then she didn't kill the slasher last year. So the slasher got her brother and has been free to kill people for the last year. So the town of Derry or whatever it is has lost like 30, 40 people over the last year. The town's falling apart. Everyone's miserable. And so she has to figure out, save who's remaining and figure out how to get back to her own timeline. Aurora Borealis. Thank you, Chaos. Ouroboros. It's like, you're saying it completely wrong, and it's like, it's just not coming. Thank you, Chaos. Appreciate it. Aurora Borealis. So it's magical. It can grant wishes, apparently. So really cool setup for a movie. Doesn't quite get there. I think my biggest problem with the film is it didn't seem to... The film didn't seem to figure out what it wanted its tone to be. Because it's like... Some of the slasher stuff is pretty gnarly, and I appreciate that. So are we going hard, gross, bloody horror? Because some of it's really goofy, like someone gets a candy cane lawn ornament stuck through their head. Goofy crap like that. But then another person just gets really brutally, violently, and repeatedly stabbed to death. And it's like, oh, that feels different than the goofy candy cane through the back of the head and out through the open mouth kind of a thing, right? Because guy and gal are smoochins, and she's like, "Ew, what the hell did you eat?" And he's standing there, because she's tasting the blood because he just got impaled through the back of the head. That's cute, but then she gets just really brutally butchered, and it's like, well, that's a different feeling. There are jokes, but some of the actors are playing it really straight, and some of them are in a completely different movie. Like Justin Long plays the mayor, and he's funny. Nothing wrong with his performance, but it's tonally at odds with like everyone else in the film. So, yeah, my big issue with the film is it didn't. I don't think it really locked down tonally what it wanted to do. It also, like, dips its toe into some pretty interesting thematic areas, like unexamined trauma. And then it just pulls its toe back out of the pool or bathtub or whatever body of water I'm using in this analogy, and gallivants off somewhere else. And it's like, oh, that was an interesting idea that you just kind of decided not to engage with. What kind of movie do you want to do? Still, having said that, overall, I found it an entertaining sit. I liked it overall. The actors are all solid. They're charismatic and entertaining to watch. The kills are pretty good. It's a fun concept. I do like the fact that It's a Wonderful Life actually exists in this universe, and they recognize that that's what happened. I mentioned she gets George Bailey'd. I don't think they say that exactly, but they do at least recognize it's like, oh wow, It's a Wonderful Life. And they're like, "Well, how do I get back to my timeline? I guess you have to. I guess you have to do the final girl thing and kill the killer again. Maybe. Who the hell knows? So So worth a watch, I think. I wish it's so cool. I wish it were better. I think is where I come down on that one. So then, keeping the Christmas theme, I guess, because I watched the Naughty Nine, then I watched Candy Cane Lane, and then I watched part of Skinamarink. Then I watched The Wonderful Knife. So keeping on with the Christmas themes, I watched Merry Little Batman, which is an animated Batman movie. One of the ugliest things I have ever seen. I appreciate that the film is doing something wildly different, bold interpretation of such well-known characters as, Batman, Joker, Poison Ivy, and the like. That's ballsy. I appreciate. We think of Batman, we think of the Joker, Poison Ivy, Bane, Mr. Freeze, and we have a pretty solid visual image of what these characters look like. And this movie is coloring way outside those lines. That's ballsy. That takes guts. So I admire that, but the designs that they landed on and the art direction in general does not tickle my aesthetic sense. I think it's just ugly. Chaos says, "Oh yeah, I saw the trailer for that Batman movie and went nope." And I almost noped right off of it too, purely due to aesthetics. I really just don't like the way it looks. And don't get me wrong, that's not a Batman should only look one way kind of a thing. No, I'm fine with all kinds of different approaches and designs and tones and stuff. Like it's a kids movie. It's very lighthearted, totally fine. It's just ugly. I don't like the art. It's like I don't know, Adventure Time. I hear that show is just a fantastic show. But I've never watched it because I genuinely just cannot stand the style. Crayon Shin-chan. I hear that thing's been running forever, and I don't watch it because I just can't stand the way it looks. Am I that shallow? Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Best animated Batman film is Mask of the Phantasm. Yeah? I mean, certainly top 3, at least. I mean, if someone said Return of the Joker, I could say, you could make an argument, sure. But yeah, Mask of the Phantasm, genuinely very, very good. Cafe Fox says, I just watched all of Adventure Time. Love it. Yeah, I know, it makes me sad because it might be a show that I would truly enjoy, but I just can't get past the character design. I hate it so much. It's so visually off-putting to me. And I kind of had that... Batman, Merry Little Batman, I had the same problem with. I watched it for about half an hour, and I had to turn it off, and then I watched the rest of it this afternoon. But really the worst thing I can say about it is I don't like the way it looks. Overall, it's actually kind of meh, honestly. I mean, granted, it's the show's targeting an audience a bit younger than 40s. So, but I appreciate a lot of kids stuff. So, I didn't think it was that great. I think it has a lot of great moments, but overall, it's just it's kind of meh, So I wonder if I'll keep watching Christmas. Maybe I'll just watch all Christmas themed movies this month. And we'll see. So hey, trailers. There've been a few, mainly because the Game Awards were this week, and which is ostensibly an award show. I mean, they have awards. I skip past them and I just watch all the trailers. But I'm sure there are awards, and I'm sure someone won some of them. So, but before we talk about the Game Awards, which I just don't, I'm probably not going to talk much about because I wrote down all of the trailers. And I'm looking at the list, and I'm just like, I don't even remember what most of them are. But I wanted to talk about Willy Wonka, which is the new movie that I think came out this week. I learned a few days ago, or well, I heard, I'm not even sure if it's true, but a little bird told me, and I freaked out because birds aren't supposed to be able to talk, but you know, once I calmed down, this bird told me, it said, "Hey, Andrew, Willy Wonka, it's a musical." I said, "What?" Because I've seen a few trailers, I've seen a bunch of marketing for the Willy Wonka movie, and there is no indication that that thing's a musical. And I remember talking about this either on the show or to my sister or someone, that American movies are really embarrassed about musicals or something. Like, now, The Marvels, there's a musical bit in that film, but that's a fun surprise. It's not a musical, there's a musical sequence in it. But if you're doing a movie and it's a musical, sell it, because I had absolutely no interest in Willy Wonka. I saw the one with Gene Wilder. It's fine. I actually saw the other, Charlie and the Chocolate, or no, the one with Johnny Depp. Saw that. It's terrible. But yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only one. Maybe there are a significant number of potential theater goers who will go, "There's music! I hate music, especially in movies. I was going to go, but now that I know people burst into song, I'm not going." I imagine there's some people like that, but like a significant number that would negatively affect the box office? I don't know. But I'm still not going to see Willy Wonka. I'd be more interested in seeing it, like, once it hits streaming, now that I know it's a musical. But the point is if it's tell me what your movie is. Sell me what the movie is, so I can make an informed decision as to whether I want to watch it or not. Which leads me to game trailers. Because the trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6 came out this week, and thank God it's Grand Theft Auto 6, because if it wasn't the fifth sequel, not even the sixth entry in a series, because there's been a ton of spin-offs, but it's like the 12th entry in a series that's been going on for 25 years. If that weren't the case, I would have no idea what this game is, because the trailer has no gameplay in it. None. I mean, what can you say about the game just from watching the trailer? Probably takes place in Florida. I'm guessing the gal in the pink shirt and her boyfriend, maybe, are the protagonists, maybe? And they might do crimes, or at least there's crime stuff happening. And there seems to be an alligator. I mean, I hope the alligator has a significant role in the game. That might be fun. But if you had no idea what Grand Theft Auto was, you'd bounce off of this trailer and go, okay, what's the game, though? There's no gameplay. I mean, it's not even pre-rendered footage arranged in a way that... Is it a third-person game? A first-person game? Is it a management sim? Is it a dating sim? Is it a visual novel? Is it a shooter? Is it a brawler? Is it a strategy or tactics RPG? Who the hell knows? The trailer for the game The piece of marketing meant to make you pry open your wallets and fork over the cash doesn't tell you what the gosh darn game is. However, we can, in this case, cut the trailer some slack because it's Grand Theft Auto 6, and most gamers know what Grand Theft Auto is. We can be highly confident that it's going to be quite similar to Grand Theft Auto 5. So, it still annoys me, though. It's hard to find people that can both act and sing. Sure, because most people can't act, most people can't sing. So finding people who can do both, that's a find. I can do both. Not well. I can't sing melody for shit. Voice too low. Seems to be a Bonnie and Clyde type story. Perhaps. I mean, we can get a sense of what the story probably is, sure, but this isn't a movie, it's a video game. I want to know what the game is. And I think Sega does a much better job of the way it broadly markets its Yaku or Like a Dragon games. They normally do like dual trailers. Like they'll have one trailer that's very story focused and they'll have another trailer that's very gameplay focused. And I think that's a fair way to do it. But it's to me, it's so weird to spend all these resources, money and manpower on marketing that doesn't work. Well, maybe it works. Maybe there's a significant number of gamers out there who just genuinely do not care what the game is or how it plays. So let's move on to the Game Awards, which is just a bunch of game trailers for me. There were approximately 60 games shown, advertised, if you will, at the Game Awards. 60. A little over 60. 1/3 of those titles, a full third, featured zero gameplay. Now, the 2/3 that actually did have gameplay, I'm actually being very generous on what I count as gameplay. You know how a lot of times you'll see a trailer and they'll do the thing where they'll show basically an in-game shot of the character running towards the camera, and then they'll like fade to different environments to kind of show off what environments you run through. You know, the kind of stuff where it's not like actual gameplay footage, but it's in-engine stuff with the character running around. They just turn off the HUD and manipulate the camera to make it seem more cinematic. I count that. 1/3 of the 60-some games shown at the Game Awards, absolutely zero gameplay. Now again, if it's Grand Theft Auto 6 or Monster Hunter, I guess it's that would be 6. Monster Hunter 6, Monster Hunter Wilds, I think it's called. Well, we know what those entities are, but let me scroll through my list here. Let's see. Ready or Not. Any idea what that game is? I don't know. No gameplay. Marvel's Blade. Hey, they're making a Blade video game. I mean, I could make a guess. I would imagine you shoot and slash vampires. I mean, I would imagine, because I know who Blade is, but they didn't show any gameplay, so who the hell knows? Could be an RPG. I mean, it might be a walk and talkie RPG, kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy game that's fairly recent, where there's lots of just sitting around and talking and then walking places while the characters talk, and then you hit an arena and you get into fights and then you move on. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe not. Who knows? No gameplay. Last Sentinel. No gameplay. Don't know. Of course, then you have other things like Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, which is a don't nod game. The Life is Strange. I mean, there's barely any gameplay anyway. I mean, it's essentially just a visual novel anyway. I mean, you walk around and you talk to people, and that's about it. I mean, anyway, I know I'm a broken record here, but I genuinely just do not understand the approach of not showing what the game is. And again, if it's a known property like Monster Hunter or Grand Theft Auto, where the cultural zeitgeist does the heavy lifting, everyone knows what Monster Hunter looks like and plays like. Everyone knows what Grand Theft Auto looks like and plays like, so you can get away with a stylized movie trailer that has no gameplay in it to get people hyped. Because basically, that's just an expensive 3-minute way of saying, hey, Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming. Yay, I know Grand Theft Auto, so I'm excited for more. I know Monster Hunter, so I'm excited for more. But for stuff that is not a known franchise, I genuinely do not understand the approach of, okay, no gameplay. And I'm sympathetic if the development is like they're not to the point where they have gameplay ready to show, so they outsourced another studio to make a CG movie. Okay, I can understand that, but wouldn't you want the CG movie to clearly communicate what the game is? Apparently not. Jurassic Park Survivor game. Yeah, that was mostly a movie, but there were a few sequences at the end that showed it looks like a first-person adventure game. It looks kind of similar to the Jurassic Park the game that came out 15 years ago. I actually wrote the guide for that, which was kind of pointless because there are like almost no puzzles in that game, like at all. I think there's like maybe one puzzle, but I think there's 4 chapters in that game and 1 puzzle per chapter, maybe, at best, if that. So what I ended up doing when I wrote the guide for that is basically the guide was, here are all the fun ways you can die in this game. What else are you going to do for that guide? You don't need a guide for that. Just walk that way and hit the button prompts when they come up. Let's see. Cafe Fox says, I'm really surprised by the amount of people who get super excited over a game trailer when it's just an animated cinematic. And I'm not saying the animated cinematics aren't pretty, aren't cool, aren't neat. I've seen a bunch of game trailers. I'm like, wow, that's evocative and aesthetically attractive and that an entertaining little 2-minute mini story. But I have no idea what the game is. So I can't be excited to play the game because I don't know what it is. Cool little movie, though. I remember, I think it was like the last Game Awards, or one of the shows during the summer, where there was this cool stop-motion aesthetic where this gal comes up to a dude playing a guitar and the camera comes... They're like on a swamp in the middle of the night or something. The camera pans out and this dude's like a giant and she's got, I don't know, a ghost with her or something. I'm like, well, that's neat. No idea what the game is, though. cool little 2-minute mini movie though. I like animation. I like shorts. You know, I can appreciate them as shorts. It's super neat. Are you excited for the game? What game? What's the game? No idea. I don't even remember what the name of that thing is, but let's see. Chaos says, to be fair, just a reveal trailer, a gameplay trailer will come later. Whichever one you're talking about, yeah, I imagine so, but that really only works in cases where it's an established franchise. Like, as I've been talking about, you can get away with that for something like Grand Theft Auto. You can get away with that for something like, Monster Hunter, particularly since the latter is a little more than a year away. I'm thinking that Monster Hunter Wilds, I think, they said 2025 something. It's probably January. Because they said they're going to start talking about it in the summer, and that means when they start really talking about it, it's usually 6 months out or so. And I think World came out in January, so it seems like January 2025 seems like a decent time. We'll see. But for an unknown franchise, for a franchise that's not previously established, like what was the zombie game from years back? Zombie Island, I think. Phenomenal trailer. Just a wonderful piece of art. And you can, I imagine you watch it and you're like, okay, what's the game though? Super cool. It's that, where it starts on the little girl who's laying dead on the floor and the whole trailer plays backwards. It's a great trailer. It's a wonderful little short. But doesn't tell you anything about the game. I mean, you can guess and be highly confident it's probably a game in which you fight off zombies. And indeed, that's what Dead Island was. But again, is it, first person, third person, tactics, strategy, RPG, brawler, shooter? Who the hell knows? Neat trailer, though. I don't know. Maybe I'm just different. Chicago says 60 games. I didn't see the awards. Were there any good games shown? Yeah, there's some stuff that was interesting. The awards looked terrible. I didn't watch them. I skimmed through. So the pre-show was hosted by someone I don't know. But bless her, she was doing her best with some of the most embarrassingly terrible comedy writing I have ever heard. Like, I don't know who the hell they hired to write her jokes, but they should feel ashamed because that was embarrassingly bad. I felt bad for her. And if she's writing her own jokes, please hire comedy writers because you're not good at it. Keeley himself, who hosted the main show, is still very bad, but I mean, as a host, but it's his show. Do what you want. I just watched the trailers. I don't even know who won. I don't even know who was nominated. If I had to guess, I'd say Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year. That seems like a shoo-in to me, but who the hell knows? Let's see. So, for the pre-show, we had a remake of Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, Pony Island 2, okay, Rise of the Golden Idol, which showed no gameplay. I mean, it showed a murder board, so maybe it's a mystery investigative game, but who the hell knows, because no gameplay. Something called Usual June, which I don't remember anymore, Ark Knights Endfield, anime stuff, but again, no gameplay, so You Are the Chosen One. Don't remember. Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, Assassin's Creed Nexus VR, Harmonium the Musical. No gameplay, at least nothing I recognize as gameplay. That one's kind of hard to tell. It looks like they're doing something different. It's a musical game with a deaf lead, which is an intriguing concept. I would have been very curious to know how it plays. But no. Windblown, Thrasher, which is a spiritual sequel to Thumper, Persona 3 Reloaded, Dave the Diver has some DLC that's crossing over with Dredge. It's a neat idea. I don't recall them actually showing any... Oh, no, they did show some gameplay of Dave the Diver, but I don't think they showed any of actual Dredge. World of Goo 2, and Metaphor ReFantasio, which has a game title logo so weird that I genuinely missed the title the first time. I just didn't recognize it as a title card. I was like, where was the title? I had to back up. I was like, oh, that's it. Fox, Cafe Fox says, sorry, but some of the worst is when you see this really cool cinematic, but when you get a shot of the gameplay, it's like DOS graphics. I remember that happening quite frequently in the N64 era, specifically with N64. Let me actually hang on a second. For the N64, this is a bad game, and it should feel bad. But I like this game because it has the goofiest jump animation I have ever seen. Ethan Hunt has this really weird whee! He has a it's this like frolicking skip for a jump is the weirdest damn thing, and it entertained me throughout the entire game. I remember having an issue with Mission Impossible because the game itself looks absolutely nothing like the renders that were published in advertisements like in Nintendo Power and Game Informer or EGM or any other mags that were around that back then. But if you look in the back of the box, if it will focus, yeah, that's, look, it's actually... Yeah, it's not blurry. My camera is in focus. That's just what N64 graphics look like. That is actually what the game looks like. I'd have to pull the issue of Nintendo Power and show you the... where they tried to pass off CG renders. Oh, man, this game looks amazing! They did the same thing, I think, with, like, Clay Fighter. Like, they were using some of the Silicon Graphics renders as advertising screenshots, and it's, that was before the concept of bull shots, right? But yeah, I agree. It's really irritating when the advertisement is not representative of the actual game. Now, in the PlayStation era, I think there was kind of an expectation that the pretty CG cinematics would not look, the in-game graphics would not look anything like the pretty CG cinematics, like it, Final Fantasy. This pre-rendered CG cinematics, and I'm sorry, Final Fantasy VII, the PlayStation game. The CG rendered stuff it's primitive by today's standards, of course, but that was amazing back in 1997 or 8 or whenever the hell that came out. But I think everyone understood, yeah, that's just the CG movies that are on the disc. The CG movies are on the disc, and we will see those CG movies. So it's not really a lie, because, that's just showing what the cool CG movies look like. This is what the in-game graphics looks like. Cloud looks like it has Popeye arms. It's just got these massive forearms. Final Fantasy VII looks like shit. It really does. I'm sorry. Final Fantasy VII, it absolutely earned its place in gaming history, but folks, come now. Even back in 97 or whenever that game came out, it looked like shit. It was genuinely awful looking. Even by the standards of the day. It was bad. Doesn't mean it's a bad game, but good gravy. Is that a new chair? Oh, this one? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been a year or so since I lost my temper and beat my old chair into submission. um, so yeah, I'm actually gonna have to get a new one again because this one is the seat of the chair. You know, it's splitting all over the place. But I wear pants, so like all the time, even when I'm sleeping, even in the shower. I am naked for no one. So the splits in the chair don't like abrade the back of my thighs or anything because I'm always wearing pants. All right, so let's see what else we got in the show. Exodus, I don't remember what that is. God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC, cool. Big Walk. I actually wrote a note that says it showed gameplay, but I have no idea what the game is or how it plays. I don't even remember. Prince of Persia Lost Crown, still looking forward to that. That looks fun. Lego Fortnite, okay. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. I played the first one, and it's just really boring. I don't like. I admire the game. I appreciate it from a technical standpoint. I actually really enjoy what it's attempting to do. I just didn't really enjoy it. I found it just a slog to play through and really boring. Pretty though. Kimori, which is ninjas, but no gameplay. No Rest for the Wicked. Avatar, don't care about Avatar. Dragon Ball Sparkling! Exclamation point 0. It's not Sparkling 0, it's Sparkling 0. Weird. Whatever. The Casting of Frank Stone, which is some Until Dawn style game set in the world of Dead by Daylight is the best I could figure out, but again, no gameplay. So, but again, if it is a Until Dawn style thing, there's almost no gameplay anyway. It's just kind of walk over somewhere, and when the prompts come up, pick a prompt or try to hit the button. Visions of Mana, so new Mana game. Rise of the Ronin. OD. No gameplay. Yeah, Kojima's an interesting dude, and yeah, hey, Udo Kier's in a game. That's neat. So what they showed was renders of 3 actors repeating a short aside in different ways. One read it straight, one read it kind of horrified, and one read it kind of evil. But who knows what the hell the game is, because again, no gameplay. I'm glad I'm not at those shows because I would feel bad because I'd be sitting there in the audience like this. I'm not happy. Andrew, dude, that's Hideo Kojima, man. It's like, there was no gameplay. Screw you, Hideo Kojima! Like, dude, Andrew, stop it. There's no gameplay! How do you expect me to get excited with no gameplay? Chaos says, I have little faith that my controllers will survive the new DBZ game. Jurassic Park Survival, Rocket Racing, no gameplay, but, it's a racer. I think we can get a pretty decent idea of what that's like. Black Myth Wukong, which I actually don't think had any gameplay, but also not the first time we've seen anything from that game either, so... Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Oh, hey, that's still coming out? I noticed that this trailer kind of picked up the rug and swept all the live service elements under it. Unlike that last one, which was so poorly received, I think the game was delayed like a year. I'm not a smart man, but my suggestion, if any, if game companies hired me as a consultant, here is the advice I would give. I'm giving free advice. All that stuff that nobody likes, stop doing that. I know it's profitable. I know enough people put up with that shit to make it profitable. You know, overdoing the microtransactions and the loot box and the what the passes, not season pass. What the hell's the it's got an actual name and I forget what it's called. All that crap that people put up with in order to actually play the game, nobody actually likes it. No one likes it. Not a single gamer. I will stand that there is literally no one who's like, yeah, you know what? I enjoy paying $70 for a game and then shelling out more money in order to play the game effectively. I like that. I much prefer that to just paying $70 for a game and the transaction ending there. Yeah, I don't believe that. Nobody likes this stuff. We put up with it because we would have nothing to play if we didn't. So my incredible lauded suggestion would be stop doing things that nobody likes. You're welcome. Battle Pass. That's what. Thank you, Chaos. That's what I was thinking of. Wukong. It did have gameplay. Okay, I was trying to remember because at some point I got really bored and got sloppy with my notes. I'm like, I think I started zoning out. Let's see. Warframe, Whispers in the Walls, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. Ready or Not. No gameplay. Zao, Tales of Kenzira. Okay. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. That's that Don't Nod game I talked about. Kazan, the first Berserker. Apex Legends crossed with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. No gameplay. Honkai, Star Rail. No gameplay. Skull and Bones. Oh, that's still coming out? Cool. No gameplay. Marvel's Blade, no gameplay. Last Sentinel, no gameplay. The First Descendant, no gameplay. That's a lot of no gameplays in a row. Zenless Zone Zero. I appreciate alliteration. Mecha Break, Helldivers 2, which someone in the chat mentioned. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine, no gameplay. GTFO, The Final Chapter, no gameplay. Den of Wolves, no gameplay. Exoborn, no gameplay. Asgard's Wrath. Palia. Monster Hunter Now. Hindsight. Monster Hunter Now almost had no gameplay, but it had like literally 1 second of gameplay at the very end where they show. That's the mobile Monster Hunter. It's like they have the Monster Hunter Now, and then they have a picture of a phone with a Diablos running around. Literally 1 second. I'm like, okay, there was some gameplay. You're off the hook. Lost my place. Hindsight, Light No Fire, Stormgate, Guilty Gear Survive, which is, I think, a DLC character or something like that. Final Fantasy 16, Echoes of the Fallen, and The Rising Tide, which are 2 new DLCs that are coming out. The Finals, Baldur's Gate 3, Bellwright, and Monster Hunter Wilds. Oh, Monster Hunter Wilds? No gameplay. It's probably over a third because I just got lazy and was missing stuff. So did someone in the chat confirm that Baldur's Gate 3 did win? I don't know. Cafe Fox says, I think that did win, right? Yeah, I mean, I would guess it did. And I think Baldur's Gate 3 was also a game that was, interestingly, lauded for not doing the majority of that stupid bullshit that everybody hates but puts up with because, well, we want to play a game. It's kind of like, well, you agree to our terms of service. I mean, it's because there's no option to disagree. I can't play the game I bought unless I hit agree to the damn terms of service thing. I don't agree to it, but I'm definitely going to hit the A button because I want to play the game I just dropped. Well, I don't pay $70 for a game, but uh, I would spend so much more money on this crap. Well, come to think of it, I guess I'm going to have to get a PS5 at some point because it looks like Monster Hunter Wilds is next gen, or well, current gen only. You might say, hey, well, Andrew, how come you don't have a PS5? Well, because there's literally nothing I want to play that isn't already also on the PS4. That seems like, for example, like the new Like a Dragon games. Those are also on the PS4. You know, they're exclusive to Sony, and I think they're exclusive to Sony. Maybe they're not. I don't know. They're games I must play, like Mario, like Zelda, like Metroid. And if they were PS5 only, I'd buy a PS5, I guess. But they're also available on the PS4. But the new Monster Hunter looks like it may be current gen only, so may have to buy a PS5 in the future. It did win? Okay. Well, congrats. Congrats, Baldur's Gate 3. I played Baldur's Gate 1 for about half an hour, and then I stopped. And the problem is I played it probably in like 2012 or something. I think the game came out in like the late 90s. And if you didn't play that game originally, or you didn't have a lot of experience with that style of that era of game, yeah, it's really tough to play these days. The games like I think I talked about this last week, but Baldur's Gate, Fallout, they're like the early Ultima or Ys games. They're just really hard to play now. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some gameplay of Baldur's Gate 3, and I don't know. It's not something that's really saying, "Ooh, come play me." So, all right, that's it for me. I guess I should find more Christmas movies to watch because, why break the streak? Although I don't know. I saw a movie. I was gonna watch something. Honestly, I forget what it's called. But it was on. I think it's a horror movie, or at least a psychological thriller. I think it's PG-13 or something like that. I forget. No One Will Save You, something like that. I read the log line. I'm like, that looks interesting. Let's watch that. But it was on Hulu, so it immediately started up with a minute and a half of commercials. I was like, nope. So, XL says, I remember my first time playing the first one. Got my heart beat by a bunch of bards with staves while they sang me to death. That's pretty funny. What really bothered me about Baldur's Gate was how, just mechanically, how it functioned. How I had to walk to the edge of the screen and then physically drag the screen over so I could continue walking. I was like, oh no, I can't deal with this. Either maybe that was Fallout, but I remember that being an issue of one of the older games I was trying at some point. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me and listening to me complain about the important things that affect our lives. Video game trailers. Yeah, we keep it real here at Molehill Mountain. So join me tomorrow. We'll play some more Trails to Azure. What are we doing? Well, we don't want to. We need to find Marie, the Sunita's cat. But before we do that, we need to go everywhere else in the state of Crossbell. I think we have to go. I think Olia and Lynn are up in the Armorica village, and they've got a training quest or something for us, and we've got to go all Mines Village and the gates and the hospital and everywhere else. So we'll find the cat eventually. I as long as those 3 no good hooligans who moved into Bond and Creel's house aren't mistreating little Marie, because we'll have words. Oh, and Olivier's in town, so that's fun. Will we run into Chloe? We know she's there too, so should be fun. So hope you'll join me. That's tomorrow at noon Pacific Standard Time. And until then, have yourselves a merry little Christmas and Hanukkah, because I think Hanukkah started. I think we're on like night 3-ish. I think someone on Facebook said they were, I counted the candles, so I think we might be on night 4. I don't know. I don't keep track of this stuff. I live alone. So I just realized yesterday, I was like, oh shoot, I need to buy my sister presents. I should do that, because we're already well into December, so but the nice thing about my sister, she I live in California, she lives in Missouri, very far away, so I can get away with not being particularly on the ball with the holiday gifts, because it's like, oh well, no, I got this stuff covered, but we're not going to see each other for some time, so I'm just holding on to it for now. I can just fib. So, all right. Have an excellent evening, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.